শোনা যাচ্ছে কিনা কি করে যাচ্ছিস
আমার পার্ট হলো
Good evening, children. Students, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Bonsoir. Udav, bonsoir. How's your preparation, Udav? Ranbir, I'll answer your question. Just a minute. 1 minute. Gia, your question is, please tell direct and indirect. I have just uploaded a video on a quick recap on direct and indirect with a quiz. Gia, you may go to that and refer to that, please. Yes, Preeti, I'm coming to that question of yours. Usually it comes in fill in the blanks. Ranbir, section, can we start writing skill question on a fresh page? Yes, you can start on a fresh page, but don't leave too much of a gap. Yes, surely I will. Surely you can. I have also just now uploaded something on tips for how to approach the exam. What you can start with. Udav, pluska parfait is a past. It's a compound tense, right? And this compound tense, as the name indicates, you have to use the auxiliary verb of avoir un être in l'imparfait plus past participle. If you have any more questions, you can ask me. Final examination for class 9, I'll do it later. Surely I will. Before the final exams, I'll do a revision on final exams. Surely. If you have any more questions. Yes, Arwa? Bonjour. What's your question? See, I'll give you an example. When we have, for example, Preeti, to answer to your question, I'll write it out here. Avez-vous, we take an example. Avez-vous invité tous les étudiants or tous les amis, have you invited all your friends, right? We take this as a question. So, how can we answer this? No, nous n'avons invité aucun ami. None of my friends I have invited, right? You want to do a quick recap on proto-relative sample and composé? You mean to say for this question, non, nous n'avons invité, nous n'avons pas invité. You know, when we use aucun is when many are there. It's in plural and you're saying nobody is going to come. I've not invited anybody. Okay? Right. Arva, I'll do a quick recap on prono-relative sampler and composé. You can go through my videos. I have done it in details, but I'll do a quick recap on that. And the thing is, for this prono-relative sampler, what are my prono-relative sampler? Ki, ka, u, don, right? And what are my prono-relative composé? Of course, you know it's going to be with the preposition plus the locale family. Right. Now, what happens here is, how do I identify whether I have to use prono-relative sampler or composé? For sampler, we have to look for those expressions like avoir besoin de, être envie de, then, you know, those expressions, être fier de, etc. Those expressions will give you an idea that it has to be prono-relative sampler. But prono-relative composé, what is my rule for prono-relative? First of all, if we're doing really, look at the two sentences, identify the common noun or the antecedent in both the sentences. In the second sentence, if it's going to be prono-relative composé, look for the preposition. Look for the preposition before the common noun. That if a preposition is there, we are going to use prono-relative composé. Près de, à côté de, etc. Aidan, recap on discours. I have just uploaded some time back a quick recap on discours rapporté. Dans quelques jours would be future proche we'll consider from exam point of view for 1 day, up to 1 day. Dans plus long time would be future antérieur. Yes, a plus lequel is auquel. Rohit, you have already sent me a query on one of the questions on discours, which I uploaded just now. I'm going to check this after this. Subjunctive, what happens, Merlin? Please go. You have to learn the conjugation of the verbs, right? Subjunctive, there are a few verbs. Just go to my video on subjunctive. You will get a detailed idea on that. No. Rohita, no, there is no agreement when we use ne person in negation. No. Any other question, children? I've given you a few tips, children. Remember, we have to go from known to unknown. Make sure your presentation is neat and clean, right? It has to be a neat and clean paper. And the 15 minutes, please utilize it very well by reading the unseen comprehension passage. That's the time when you should utilize reading the passage and looking at the questions and trying to identify which are the questions that I'm going to attempt, right? With some questions in discourse, how do we know when to use see or just the normal sentence? Right, see, when you are changing from direct to indirect, right? If it's a statement, we're using que. If it's a question, it's a simple question. Remember, direct and indirect, there are three kinds. Either it's going to be a simple statement, that is phrase declarative, or it's going to be an imperative sentence, or number three is going to be an interrogative. Interrogative, for our convenience, we've divided into type A, type B, type C, right? In type A, it's just a simple questions like est-ce que or inversion. So here, what do we do? If it's est-ce que or an inversion, that's when we have to use C, all right? If we have got les adverbes interrogatifs like où, quand, comment, combien, then you're going to use that. No, I cannot say that, Uda, whether you have to learn only Indian education system, they can give you French education system or both, or they can tell you to compare, right? But remember something for the writing skills. If your format is correct, you're going to get marks for the format. So make sure you learn your format properly. Okay? The format also carries marks. Read the question for the letter properly as well as the message properly, and find out what they're asking you exactly, especially the message. Who are they telling you to write to and what are you supposed to write? Any more questions? Merlin, I will send you the link to my I will send you the link to my subjunctive, wherein you can go there and get a clear understanding. I would suggest that subjunctive, there's not much of understanding into it. You don't have to, there's not much reasoning in that, right? So what you have to do is just learn your conjugations well. Yes, Vaidik, you don't have to write s'il vous plaît again. It's not required. Laura, ma sœur existe entre ces deux poules, mais dans la vitrine, will the answer be ma sœur existe entre ces deux poules? Poule, c'est masculin. Donc, c'est celui là dans la vitrine et en camper. Celui, yes, remember something. This is demonstrative pronoun, right? So in demonstrative pronoun, you must remember, Laura, demonstrative pronouns cannot stand on their own. They have to be followed by si or la. If in the sentence already we don't have ki, ka, the also, right? So if the sentence after the blank does not have ki, ka, the, then you must put si or la. Yes, the plus lequel, of course, is desquels. No, in a negative sentence, Preeti, we will not repeat the number. Indications for verbs. Of course, I'll do an indication for verb. See, when we see for the tenses, you mean, right, Aiden? So what do we do in the tenses? The moment you see that it is a, first let's take present tense. When you don't have any indicator, it's going to be present, or aujourd'hui, something that's telling you aujourd'hui. Now, then we go on to future tense. If it's going to be future proche, within one day, future proche. How do we know? Bientôt, dans une heure, dans quelques minutes, dans 15 minutes, etc. All right? So that's going to be future proche. But then the moment I have from afterwards, like tomorrow something is going to happen in future, that's future sampler. Dans plus what? Dans plus anything that's going to happen in future, where and when, especially when you have sentences like conjunction of time, con, aussitôt que, etc. There you're going to have the first tense. You have to be very careful with those sentences, Aiden. You have to check the indicators. Suppose you've got a conjunction of time. So you know it's lorsque, aussitôt que, quand, etc. So I've identified that it's a conjunction of time. Then you have to go and see what is a given tense. Is it in future sampler? Then it will be future anteriors. But of course, imperative can come anywhere if there's no subject pronoun. Right? So we're done with the future tenses. You have to be careful. Après plus noun plus future sampler. What else? We go on to our past tenses. In our past tense, we've got passé composé, which is a one-time action. L'âme parfait, which is a past continuous action, which is going on for some time. You can have sentences with con plus l'âme parfait plus l'âme parfait. That is what happens when you have both the sentences, both the actions going on simultaneously in the past. Okay, then we're done with, then we've got the past tense, that is plus que parfait. Plus que parfait, my indicator is il y a longtemps and déjà. That's my indicator for plus que parfait. And what else we're left with? Of course, subjunctive is coming separately. Imperative is going to be no subject pronoun. Don't go by the exclamation mark. You should go by the no subject pronoun only. Ordering or asking or demanding something. And what is conditional present? Conditional present we use for politely asking a question. Yes, après plus noun plus future sampler, correct. Yes, ouvrir to form in the present tense does have an S, but if you're going to do it in imperative, you cannot, don't put the S. Remember something important. I have given tips for your example, for your exams also to remember in my Padlet. You can refer to that and find out. What happens there is, Chrisanne, to answer to your question, when you write imperative, in imperative to form, the S is omitted. But in case that comes, in case it is followed by E or O in pronominal, you need to put the S for clash of vowel. Yes, of course, Shubhankar, passé récent is part of your portion. Of course it is. It is part of your portion, right? So passé récent is there. How do you know? What's my indicator? Il y a plus short time, right? Il y a quelques minutes, j'ai prendre mon déjeuner. In the type with interrogative, do we have to change the verb given in direct to infinitive in indirect and vice versa? Why do you have to change it to infinitive? Can you give me an example of what you have in your mind, please? Yes, Christine, cet après-midi in temps, do we have present simple or future proche? Cet après-midi, it's this afternoon, right? So it's something, as we have taught you from exam point of view, future proche is up to 1 day, but it can also be present tense. Yes, you can also use future sampler. But from exam point of view, we have told you that better to stick to future proche. Yes, correct, Ranbir. S is omitted only in ER verbs for imperative. Yes, only in imperative. La mère demande à son fils, quand est-ce que tu vas venir après? La mère demande à son fils. Now, what was your question? Quand? What did the mother ask her son? When are you going to come? Après le whatever, après le cours. So the mother asked the boy when he is going to come after the class. So what is it? La mère demande à son fils quand il va venir. Il va, this conjugation is wrong. You cannot have tu vas venir. It's wrong what you've given. It has to be either va venir. Tu vas venir. Okay? You cannot have a conjugation like that. Yes, would a question come without underlining in negative? Paxton, can you just elaborate on that, please? Can you elaborate on that? I haven't understood your question. Laura, yes, je les avais reçus. Of course, there's going to be a direct object agreement. Remember, direct object agreement is for all the 3 compound tenses that you have learned. You've learned passé composé, you've learned futur antérieur, and you've learned plus que parfait. So direct object agreement, if it's with the verb avoir and it's feminine singular, add an E. If it's masculine plural, add an S. If it's feminine plural, add ES. Paxton, could you please elaborate? I think I've already elaborated on the indicators for PQP. Okay, you want the indicators for PQP? PQP will be, we have a sentence. For example, you would have a sentence like il y a longtemps. So il y a longtemps is an indicator for PQP. All right. Déjà is also another indicator for PQP, something that has already happened, all right, in the past. Déjà is also a clue for it. Exactly. Whenever direct object goes before the verb in compound tenses, meaning only with the verb avoir, not with être, only with the verb avoir, of course it's going to agree in number and gender. So the 3 compound tenses that we have learned are passé composé, futur antérieur, and plus que parfait. Correct. Plus que parfait, from the name itself, you can understand it's avoir and être in l'imparfait plus past participle. You're correct, Ranbir. Exactly. If we have conjunction of time, l'imparfait, passé composé, when to use PQP, you have to read the sentence properly. Okay, you have to read the sentence properly to see when there's conjunction of time. For example, I gave you an example. Quand j'étais jeune, je nageais je nageais chaque weekend. So when I was young, I used to swim every weekend. So that's giving an indication. Quand is a conjunction of time. It's giving me an indication that an action is taking place in the past, right? and which was a repetitive action in the past. What's the next question? When to use PQP? Now, when do you know when to use PQP? As I told you, you're going to get a sentence where you will have déjà in the sentence, which will already tell you that that action is on. Suppose, je suis allé à la gare, mais le train était déjà parti. That means I arrived at the station, but the train had already left. So when I see the word déjà, then I understand that that action is already completed. Okay, le patron demande au gardien, pourquoi vous n'êtes pas devant la porte? So, what is the patron asking the guardian? Why are you not in front of, why vous n'êtes pas, why aren't you in front of the door? So, the patron asks the guardian, why he is not in front of the door. So, le patron demande au gardien, pourquoi il n'est pas devant la porte. In the sentences with this code direct and indirect, please make sure you translate the sentences. Only then it's going to be very helpful for you. Yes, exactly. If être is used, then past participle automatical agreement will be there. Le directeur dit, montrez-moi votre CV, Paul. What is the answer for this? I think I have shared an answer like this, a question like this. Can anybody give me the answer to this? Le directeur dit, montrez-moi votre CV, Paul. So when we have a question like this, can I have the answer? Preeti, could we have your answer? Le directeur dit à Paul, the what? I'm waiting for Preeti to answer that. Yes, correct. Ranbir has answered it correctly. Le directeur dit de lui montrer son CV. The director tells him to show his CV. Okay. I go back to the question there. We've answered that Krisan's question. Now, Bhumi, what should we prefer? Prono-personal, prono-relative? You mean to say what you have to choose? It depends on what you have understood, Bhumi. What have you understood better? It depends on that. What you have understood better, do it, but you must revise both, because sometimes you may see that this portion is easier than the next one. Vishaka, donne-moi en becomes donne-moi. The second one is correct. The donne-moi, yes. Then Harshadip. Yes. See, you don't give a good impression if you answer all the 7 questions, right? They're giving you a choice from out of 7 to 5. That's the time you should utilize your reading time, that 15 minutes after reading the passage. Go through the questions. Don't mark anything on the question paper. You're not allowed to mark anything on the question paper. So what do? You go there and you read the questions and you see, what it is. But if you go and answer all 5, in all probability, they will just strike off the last 2. Okay? They will just strike off the last 2. One minute. So, if there is no déjà, but the sentence is a completed action, yes, you'll have to read the sentence and see. Okay? There may not be a déjà, but it may be a completed action. Generally, between l'imparfait and passé composé, l'imparfait is a continuous action in the past, whereas passé composé is a one-time action. So, as I told you, you could either have with con, sometimes you could have con with both the actions taking place simultaneously, or you could also have, like, remember one example. I was watching the TV when the bell rang. So I got up, I saw who it was, and then I came back and continued to watch TV. So what happens here is one action, which was an ongoing action, interrupted by a single one-time action. Which topics to revise most will be the topics which you require? I would suggest, your writing skills, you have to be very thorough. That is for you to score full marks in writing skills, full marks in civilization, and topics like subjunctive, wherein you don't need to really reason. You just have to learn the conjugation to score marks. and negation would be easy, right? If you have any other problem. Now, imperative in the direct sentence, we must use the appropriate reflexive pronoun in indirect, or do we use pronominal? Can you give me an example, please? Les sandwichs au fromage sont faciles à préparer. When we form questions with the above statement, should the answer be in singular or plural? Correct. Now, this is a very important thing. For the past few years, these sort of questions are coming regularly in Poser des questions. Please refer to my video on Poser des questions part 3, I think, and part 4. No, part 3 has got avec qui, en quoi, etc. And part 4 will have the questions related to this, I guess. I'll still tell you, Neha, right now, you have to be very careful. If the question is asked on the subject, whether it's a thing or whether it's a person, it has to be, when you're asking the question, you have to frame the verb in singular, third person singular. And if there is an adjective, it becomes third person, it becomes singular. Okay. So, for example, what should the question be? Your question was, where is your question? Le sandwich au fromage sont faciles à préparer. So, what should this question be? This is a thing in the place of subject. So, what do we use for, Neha? What do we use for a thing which is in the place of subject? Anybody can tell me? Is it going to be qu'est-ce qui? It's going to be qu'est-ce qui, right? It's a thing in the place of a subject. So, qu'est-ce qui est facile, without the S, à préparer. Okay? Qu'est-ce qui est facile à préparer? Got it? Now, il lui dit, lève-toi tout le jour. So, what is this going to be? Il lui dit, he tells him, wake up every day. Lève-toi tout le jour. Okay, lève-toi tôt. Let's say tôt. Okay? So, it will become, il lui dit de se lever tout le jour. Right, correct. Pronom relative, when to use ou. Pronom relative sample ou. Right, I'll come to that. When do we use ou? We use ou. What's my rule? My rule is, first of all, identify the common noun or the antecedent in both the sentences, right? So, once I've identified the common noun, I go to the second sentence and I identify the place. Is it in the place of subject? Is it in the place of object? Well, if it isn't in the place of subject and object, wherever it is, but before that, I can see a preposition before. It's not compound. It's not près de laquelle, à côté de lequel, etc. It's just a or o probably. Then you can use ou. All right. Whenever you see a preposition before the common noun in the second sentence, we can use that. Can you please make a recap of ton convenable? Yes, I will. Again, once more. What do you do if you don't know the meaning of a word or sentence? How to answer? See, the thing is, how do you answer this when you don't know a meaning? Well, you just have to guess. If you can't understand, try and avoid those sort of questions. For example, in ton convenable, I would suggest you look for the questions that are there. You know, sometimes you may have questions with avant de plus infinitive. Okay, après plus avoir or être plus past participle. Or you can have imperative. Or you can have conditional present, asking a question politely. Those would be easier for you to answer. But if you don't know the word completely, then there's nothing we can do. Yes, with conjunction of time, is that what you want? Correct. I'm coming to that. With conjunction of time, how do we do ton convenable? With what are my conjunction of time? Conjunction of time are con, lorsque, aussitôt que, dès que, etc. Right? So the moment you see conjunction of time, when you, first of all, how do we do ton convenable? You have to identify your indicator. You have to identify your indicator. What do you do? Identify the indicator. You have identified it. Now, if I can see a conjunction of time, then I have to go and see the given tense. If the given tense is future sampler, for example, I have to use future anterior. If the given tense is a past tense, for example, passé composé, then I'll have to see the meaning, read the sentence, understand the meaning, and use either pluscuparfait or l'imparfait. Okay? What else? Les adjectives, Aiden, yes. L'adjective possessive et le pronom possessive. It depends, Aiden. You have to read the sentence properly. You have to read the sentence, the meaning, and understand it. In this possessive adjective and possessive pronoun, be very careful with are and the. With the preposition are and the, you have to be very careful because the preposition with are and the becomes combined, contracted form. Okay? Be very careful. See, this is your choice whether you want to start from comprehension or backwards. But remember something, I would always suggest go from known to unknown, right? Known meaning you know your civilization very well. So, but do not go haphazardly. Don't answer only a few questions of civilization and then go and answer another section. No, you can't do that. Okay. So what should you do? You're going to go first, start. Suppose you decide to do civilization first so that you have enough time. And suppose the passage is quite difficult. So what do? First, you go to your civilization, complete civilization fully. After that, if you feel, okay, now I better finish my writing skills because they're known writing skills. So you go and finish your writing skills because grammar, you will have to think a little. Okay. You have to reason, you'll have to think and do your grammar topic, right? So once grammar is done, then you can peacefully come back and do your unseen comprehension because that may take time. You may not know what the adjective is. You may not know what the adverb is. I've uploaded a list of adverbs, conjunctions for you. Please go through that. When do we use dans? Yeah, dans you're going to use when, as I mentioned, it's a pronorelative sampler, right? So when are we going to use dans? We're going to use dans with sentences like avoir fier de, avoir besoin de, être content de, etc. Right? Okay, you have a question, Aban. J'y vais en avion. Comment est-ce que they're telling you you've gone? Suppose, another important thing I'm telling you, in poser the question, if nothing is underlined, it's fine. You can ask a question on the subject, you can ask a question on the object, whatever it is, right? So in this particular question, I'm going there by plane. So how am I going there? Comment est-ce que je vais, comment est-ce que tu vas? Comment est-ce que tu vas au parc? Oh no, you can't say park. À Delhi. It's because you're going by plane, right? So, comment est-ce que tu vas à Delhi? J'y vais en avion. You can expand it. But remember, if there's a question with en, you have to expand it. For example, I hope you know what I'm saying. Il en a deux. Okay? So, if a question like this comes, il en a deux, there are two of it. So, your question will be, combien de crayons a-t-il? Combien de stylos a-t-il? Combien de cahiers a-t-il? Whatever it is, the plus noun, you have to expand that. Merlin, I have a Padlet. I'll share the link with you right now here so that you can go to the link, and in my Padlet, I have uploaded it. Right? I have answers of civilization also on my website. You can go there and check there also. If you want to, you can go there and check. I'll post the link also for that. Answers for civilization also are there. Give me a second. I will give it to you right now. What's not opening? It will open now. It will open now. Aiden, you can try now because yesterday I made some changes. Okay, now I've come back to Uday. Is very difficult to say which letter will come, but I can tell you that I have uploaded on my Padlet a list of, even it's there on Moodle, of course it's there on Moodle. I've uploaded a few past papers, right? From the past papers, I have taken out the messages, I've taken out subjunctive questions, I've taken out letters, and I've also uploaded some important questions for civilization. That means frequently asked. It's not important, but frequently asked questions. Okay, can I go back to the question? In a compound preposition like akote, the preposition is dropped or retained when joining the sentence. No, you have to write the preposition. You have to write. Okay? Près de laquelle, etc. Important letters difficult to say, but I can see that the political system is coming very often. Make sure you know about être en bonne forme, and then of course you need to know about how to protect the environment. All right, we cannot say surely, which is coming, but of course I've given you Arva also there. I've given you some clues as to it could be the job, it could be loisir, it could be the political systems, okay, it could be being in good health. Marlene, I have posted the Padlet link, you can find it there, okay? Aiden, can you check now whether the civilization answers are opening or not? Okay, please check there. Yes, there was a setting. I'm also learning a lot of things, children. So it's the first time I was doing it. So I haven't completed it. I just did the class 10 part, made it ready for you people so that you could quickly access it. Any other questions? 5th century. Okay, go through your civilization questions properly, especially the last two areas where most of you score full marks. It's not difficult, but the area where you have répondez, children, please go through it. Please go through it and check. Please go through it, because you cannot just write one word answer to get 2 marks. It's not possible, right? This question that you have asked, Krisan, is just like the question where il leur attend. Oh, I didn't say this. Il leur attend. Il leur dit attends-moi. What did he tells them? Wait for me. So, what do you think this answer will be? What do you think it's going to be? He is telling them, wait for me. He's telling them to wait for him. So, what should it be? Yes, correct. Il leur dit de lui attendre. Okay? What else? If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask me. Discours rapporté. I have just done a recap on it, say an hour back, and uploaded a video on it. Okay? I've just done a recap. If you see, I will just tell you in a nutshell what it is. Clearly, I'll tell you that first of all, there can be 3 kinds. It can be a declarative sentence, a statement. It could be an imperative sentence. It could be an interrogative. These are the basic outline, right? So when we go to this declarative sentence, what do we see? We're going, if it's a statement, you're going to join it with que, right? And when you're changing from indirect to direct, you're going to look at that que. That joining word will give you an indicator, oh, this is a declarative sentence, right? If it's imperative, what do we see? In imperative, you're going to see that it's going to be an imperative sentence. So you write, you change it from direct to indirect with the plus infinitive, the plus ne pas plus infinitive, the plus personal pronoun plus infinitive, or the plus ne pas plus personal pronoun plus infinitive. Okay. But when we go to interrogative sentences, there are 3 kinds. What are the 3 kinds? One is sampler. What is that sampler? Sampler is going to be either esker or inversion, where you change to C. So when you see C in the indirect form, from there itself, you will understand that it's going to be, I have to use esker or inversion, right? And then next you will see interrogative adverbs. What are they? Pourquoi, combien, comment, où, quand, etc. When you see that, you're going to change it to main clause plus the interrogative adverb plus this. Now, when it comes to type C, I have explained there in details. In today also, the video that I uploaded, I've explained there. You have to remember that qui est qui is a person in the place of subject. Qui est que, person in the place of object. Qu'est-ce qui, a thing in the place of subject. And qu'est-ce que, thing in the place of object. All right. And then how do you change it? That I have given you today itself. It's a very small video. I've just done quick recap. When do we need to do inversion? In trouver la question, suppose you've got la chambre, a direct inversion. La chambre est belle. Okay. In such a case, when with the verb être, you can just do direct inversion. Comment? The question will be comment est la chambre? Comment est la chambre? That's the question. Okay. So that's when you can do direct inversion. Otherwise, also you can do inversion. You can do. Where is that? Yes, correct. Which topics can you score most? I'll tell you, if you learn your subjunctive, there's nothing. See, in temps convenable, if you haven't understood the question, it's more of reasoning based, right? Other subjects you've got reasoning based, case study, everything. In French, the places where we have reasoning based are the temps convenable and discours. If you haven't understood that, you may make mistakes. But where can you score most is your civilization, writing skill, and in grammar, I would suggest negation. Of course, we've got répondez. So you have to be careful when you're answering with no, and then change the subject pronoun and the corresponding verb and the possessive adjective if required, as well as make sure that you know your subjunctive well. That is very scoring. Right? Yes, attendre. We have certain verbs. If you can refer to my video where I've done remplacer, there are certain verbs that already have the meaning of preposition in it. Like attendre is written here. Attendre is to wait for. Écouter, listen to. Regarder, look at. Like that. Lève-toi becomes de se lever because se lever is using reflexive pronoun. Yeah, exactly. It's not going to be the Louis attendre. It's going to be the l'attendre. Okay. Gender of words. Yes, I'll just tell you whatever we can at this last moment. All words ending in ment are masculine. All words ending in tion, sion are feminine. Words ending in age mostly are masculine, except cache, page, plage, image. Then words ending in eau are masculine, okay, except water, and skin, p, they're feminine. Like that, we can remember. Okay, what you meant was en quoi. Okay, en quoi for that. Okay, for this particular question, I would tell you to refer to my video on part 3 of Poser des questions. See, for example, la robe est en coton. Let's take that example. La robe est en coton. So here, have I written it correctly? En quoi est la robe? En quoi est la robe? That's my question. Right. So, la table, let's take it. La table est en bois. The table is made of wood. En quoi est la table? Okay. So, that's my question. Je vais au marché. Je vais au parc. I'm making it park to avoid accent. Avec mon ami. Mon ami. This is my question. So what does it become? Avec qui? Avec qui est-ce que tu vas au parc? Okay, or you can also have inversion. Avec qui vas-tu au parc? Okay, let's take depuis. J'habite à Mascotte depuis 5 ans. Okay, so question. Depuis quand est-ce que tu habites à Mascotte? Okay. Okay, I need help in personal. I'm coming to that. In possessive, key is for a person and not for a yeah, key is for a person. Qua is for a thing. Correct. What do you want for demonstrative exactly, Uday? Can you be more? Can you ask the question clearly? What do you want tips on demonstrative? Demonstrative adjective. I can just tell you. The demonstrative adjectives are CE, CET, two are for masculine, and you've got CETTE for feminine, even in front of vowel, okay, and CES is for plural. But CET is for masculine nouns beginning, singular nouns beginning with a vowel. All right? Is that what you want? Uday, can you be more, can you elaborate on it? Now, can we answer the question when we knew first, then the no? Best you don't do that. You can leave space for that. Don't write your paper in a haphazard manner. See, presentation matters a lot. Please do not write anything. Even a tick mark on the question paper should not be there, right? Please make sure you check, recheck, and you should have at least 20 minutes to 25 minutes for revising the paper to see if you've missed out a question by mistake. So if you've left out something and you want to come back to that, in your answer paper, make a note of it, a star mark or something, some sort of an indicator you give so you can come back. Okay, I'll try and see if I can give you something, written notes for the gender of nouns. Whatever I can, I will do it. Of course, I'll do it for you people. Order of pronoun when this, exactly. I'm coming to that. Now, somebody else was asking about personal pronouns. Like, let's quickly go through our personal pronouns. First of all, you've got subject pronoun. Remember, like in English, we've got a subject, a verb, and an object, right? So what do we have here? We've got the subject is, a subject pronoun can be replaced with je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, elle, right? Now, when we see the verb, immediately after the verb, we have the direct object. Immediately after the verb, we've got the direct object, right? So that direct object can have an indefinite article plus noun, definite article plus noun, possessive adjective plus noun, demonstrative adjective plus noun. But it's directly after the verb, so it's replaced by direct object. What most commonly we get le, la, l apostrophe le. You do get others like je t'invite, all right, je te crie. We do write, right, direct and indirect objects, but mostly we get le, la, l apostrophe le. Now, indirect object is going to be a preposition a or the contracted form plus the person. Indirect object is used only for people. Direct object is used for living thing as well as non-living thing, right? Then we go on to the next pronoun e. All prepositions plus place replaced by e except the plus place. The plus place is not replaced by e. It's replaced by o. And for all, there are four things that are replacing all. Article indefini plus noun, article partitive plus noun, then number plus noun, repeat the number. Then you've gone to the next thing, that is expression of quantity, beaucoup de, trop de, assez de plus noun, repeat the expression of quantity. And of course, you've got the plus place. And the last one is pronotonic. Pronotonic is used for people, right? Pronotonic is used for people. So what do we have in pronotonic? It's going to be four things there again. It's for comparing. Paul est plus grand que Louis, or elle. Stress on the subject. Louis, il va au marché. Elle va à l'école. Stress on the subject. Then we've got with preposition, after preposition with people, or you've got c'est or ce sont. The verb être plus people. C'est elle, ce sont les professeurs, ce sont eux. All right. Now, what is the placement, the order of pronoun? It's going to be me, te, and then le, la, l apostrophe, etc. Louis, leur, i, on. On is the last one. Whenever être is a main verb, no inversion or sk can be used. It depends. Mostly when the verb is the main verb être, suppose it's in present tense, we use direct inversion. Okay? Then, invité, check the list. There is a list which I've uploaded with verbs that take a. All right? When do we use ceci, cela? For example, when the gender of the noun is not mentioned. Okay, the gender of the noun is not mentioned, we can use ceci and cela. Yeah. I'll give Imad, I'll give you an example. Je. If somebody has a sentence ready, you can give it in a direct and indirect sentence together. For example, j'achète le cadeau. No, if it's again pour. Pour is coming there. Okay, let me just think of it while I answer the other questions. Which order of section is... Imad, I'll come back to your question. If you have a question with you there straight away, give it to me. For example, j'ai... Yeah, so can you just give me a sentence? Okay, correct, Preeti. J'offre le cadeau à Marc. So that le cadeau is immediately after the verb. So it's going to be, the answer will be je le lui offre. Thank you, Preeti, for giving the sentence. This is going to be the answer. Imad, we said first le la le, after murder, then le la le, lui leur, e on. On's the last, right? So here you've got, first you're going to put je le lui offre. Which order of section is preferable? It depends on you. If you feel no, you want to go A, B, C, D, that's your choice. If you feel no, I need some time, I feel the passage is a little difficult for me, I need to read and reread again, then you start with whichever one. But don't spend too much time. Even if you start with section A, don't spend too much time with the passage. Finally, you may not get time to complete the rest of it. Or don't spend too much time with grammar if you are confused. If you have a doubt, make an asterisk in your answer paper, not on your question paper, and proceed to the next one. I will give the notes on gender. I will upload it on my Padlet. Okay, whatever I have, I'll try. You cannot write on the question paper. You're not allowed to write, even put a tick mark or a dot on the question paper, and you cannot ask any doubt. This is a CBSE board exam. Remember, children, you're not allowed to ask any question. If there's a problem, if there's an error, it will be dealt with. No, you cannot write. See, if you don't know the meaning of words, as I said, at least you must be able to write your writing skills, and civilization is for 20 marks, writing skill is for 20 marks, and then you proceed with the other things, okay? Okay, how do we... j'ai acheté il y a deux robes. Celle-ci est belle et celle-là est laide. For example, right? Here, a question who's asked, Uday, you've asked a question on this. Remember, when we have a question on demonstrative adjectives, you have to be very careful here. The thing is, when you have got, two, when they're specifically mentioning two dresses, two books, two novels, then you have to put it in singular. But il y a des robes. Suppose you just say the same question. Il y a des robes. Okay, it's just plural. Then you can say celle-ci est rouge, for example, or we can just continue with the same thing. Celle-ci, oh God, I'm not able to move it. Okay, suppose, I don't know, something has happened here. You can say celle-ci sont belles et celle-là sont laides. Okay? Okay, now, got it? Can we take an extra paper for writing and checking that? No, you can't do that. Everything has to be submitted. This is a board exam. You have to be very, very careful. There are a lot of questions have been given to you, not only on Padlet. The same questions have been given to you on Moodle, right? Some extra questions I have given you on answers I've given you on Padlet, but you have to read your textbook properly, right? Each lesson from the first page to the last page. We have just given you a couple of questions. Don't think that only those questions are going to come, right? They can twist and turn the questions and ask you, but you have to be thorough with your lessons. Aditya, what are you writing? What is your doubt? Après le bac can come. Yeah, you mean to say your project d'avenir, yes. Demonstrative adjectives, Arush? Yes, I'll explain demonstrative adjective once more. What am I demonstrating? Which chapters are important? All chapters are important. All chapters are, I cannot tell you any chapter to leave out. You have to read all the lessons from each lesson from the first page to the last page. Okay? Now, here I want to tell you, Arush, as I was explaining, what are my demonstrative adjectives? They are sir, cet. These are the two masculine ones. Cet is for masculine in front of vowel, right? Cette is feminine in front of vowel also, and ceas is for plural, right? So, you want to know demonstrative adjective only or demonstrative pronoun also? You want to know demonstrative pronouns, I'm sure. So, when you see a demonstrative, what's an adjective? An adjective qualifies a noun. So, when you see the blank being followed by a noun, you have to use only demonstrative adjective. Now, when you go to the next thing, that is demonstrative pronoun. What is demonstrative pronoun is actually replacing the demonstrative adjective plus the noun, right? So, how do we know which one to use? It will depend on the noun, the gender and the noun, it's what. So, we have got the sampler, celui, cell, sir, and celles, right? These are the sampler, pronodemonstrative sampler. And what are the composite? The composite will be when you add si and la. Now, the same thing I'm repeating. If in the sentence where you have to fill it up, right? After that, if you see that you have got already ki, ke, the, don, then you don't need to write si and la. Remember, they cannot exist on their own. So if it is not there, you have to put si and la. Okay? If you have any other questions, you can ask me. All the best, children. Write well. Presentation is very important. Make sure you underline your answers. You must write full sentences. I don't know whether it's going to be difficult or not, but I'm sure we have prepared all of you very well, and I'm sure you're all going to do well. Make sure you write neatly, children. Underline your answers and make sure your presentation is important. Don't just write two questions of this and then go to that. It's very difficult like that. You must complete section wise. Right? Okay. Bonne chance. Yes, of course. Of course, we'll pray for everybody. You will all do very well. Be prepared, sleep well, sleep well. You must be able to, go to sleep on time so you can think. Otherwise, if you can't think, Merlin, please do refer to the subjunctive, then you will understand. Okay, au revoir. Merci. I guess you don't have any more questions, so I can end the stream. Anybody else has any more questions? I can wait a minute. Do well, children. Don't worry at all. Learn your writing skills properly. Revise your civilization, especially the Reponde questions have to be done. Atul, very good. I'm happy. Everything is clear. If you still have any more questions, feel free to send me a mail. Feel free to send me a message. I hope I've answered all the doubts that were asked. Okay, I need to write out some genders and upload, right? I'll just check for that. Bonne nuit, bonne nuit. Au revoir.